Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 1997 Nissan Maxima. Up front is a 3.0 liter V6, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Nissan Maxima for two reasons, one of which is not the spoiler out at the back. First reason is the fact that I always love driving older Nissans like this. This is pretty good condition, all things considered, for its age, and I'm excited to show it off to you. The second reason is the fact that the Maxima used to be a vehicle that you would strive to own. This was an achievement to own one of these. This is something that people really wanted, and so I'm excited to sort of go back in time and take a look at an aspirational vehicle from yesteryear. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Last but not least, huge thank you to North Naperville Autos for letting me borrow this Maxima here today. More on them towards the end, but if you'd like to browse their inventory, you can do so down in the description below. But let's get back to that V6 under the hood. Well, that is the only way that the Maxima came in this generation. It got the 3-liter V6, the VQ30, and it's a pretty good engine. I actually really like it. I think it does the job really well, and it offers that more premium drive to where a 4-cylinder just doesn't quite cut the mustard. It's pained and strained to drive around town. The V6 takes all those worries away. It's nice and smooth at nearly any speed, and that is a huge benefit to this vehicle. The VQ30 is also pretty well known, so parts availability is relatively easy, so lots to love there. Like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic. Now, I don't mind it. It does the job. However, in this era, you could find Maximas with manual transmissions, so with the V6 and manual, that would probably be quite the hoot, and I would love to drive one, but for now, it's just the auto. Last but not least, the Maxima is, of course, front-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the Nissan Maxima? Well, I should note that this vehicle has been lowered slightly, but that being said, it still maintains a very smooth driving experience. Like I said, that V6 has enough torque for whatever you're going to ask it to do, and honestly, this is a nice car. Now, Infiniti as a brand existed in this era, but this feels up to par with it. It still maintains a decent bit of sportiness. Not bad. Not bad, in all honesty. Not bad at all. I like it. I really do. Visibility is good. The A-pillars are relatively thin. I enjoy the drive a lot. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my fuel and speedometer, and off to the right is my tachometer and coolant temperature. The tachometer seems to have had a little bit too many energy drinks and is absolutely spazzing around at idle. Never seen this before, but seemingly a common issue on these older Maximas. On the steering wheel on the right, we have our cruise control, but that's it. We do have an airbag, which is nice, but a plain and simple wheel. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent and our mirror adjustments, as well as our cruise control and security light up above. And moving on to the door, we have our latch to get in and out, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, we do get 2 climate vents, along with our hazard switch, rear defrost, and digital clock. Very simple, very straightforward climate controls, fan speed off to the left, where to set it up top, temperature down below. An aftermarket radio, because anything from this era doesn't really keep up with modern tech, so it's been swapped out. A openable cubby, cigarette lighter and ashtray, and the shifter itself. The shifter, much like the rest of the interior, is very simple, very straightforward, nothing really crazy here. And then we do have openable cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test, and sadly it fails. Although the bottle does fit into the front cup holder, it's not nearly deep enough to hold the bottle in place, so it just kind of flops around and falls out immediately. So unfortunately it's a fail, but it's at least closer than some of its rivals at the time. Then we do get a center console and the seats. The seats are cloth, however they are this very cozy, very warm, very inviting cloth from the 90s that I always love. It's a hot day today, and they're keeping me relatively cool, but on a cold day, I'm sure that they would keep me warm as well. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 1997 Nissan Maxima, and a couple of things to note. First of all, headroom. This is the biggest issue. My head's hitting the ceiling. I'm 5'11", not a small guy. My head is starting to hit the roof. Not great. However, knee room actually is pretty good. We do get this center folding foam brick, essentially. No climate vents back here, but just this back seat alone, just take a look. This is so nostalgic. I grew up in cars like this, and so the material, the warm, welcoming continuation of the material on the doors, the sort of beige taupe coloring. This is the 90s to me, you know, this is what I grew up with. So very, very cool to see all of that, but just not the most spacious place I've ever been. However, speaking of space, we do have a trunk. So let's go do a trunk review. All right, around the back of the 97 Maxima, we do have a trunk release button here on the key fob. So very cool to see that. And conveniently, I have a giant handle to pull the trunk up by. Once we are back here, nothing too crazy right home about. You do get plenty of space in the back of the 97 Maxima. And of course, these are the floor mats. We want to keep these nice and clean for the next owner of this vehicle. But other than that, nothing too crazy. Can pull this up. We do get a spare tire, which is very nice to see, and definitely not a standard in today's modern cars. So very, very cool. Now we got to talk about the looks. And I've always liked this generation of Nissan Maxima. I think it's really, really subtle and really well done. It's not braggiose, it's not in your face, and I will say, okay, the wing obviously at the back has been added on by a previous owner. I don't like that. It messes up the body lines, whatever. But besides that, if you could block that out of your image for a second, I think it's really handsome, it's really strong, and this whole car kind of emphasizes the less is more mentality. It doesn't have crazy tech, and yet I still think it's a very good car. So let's talk about that. Let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the 97 Maxima? Well, I've really adored almost every step of this process. The only downsides have been these door panels. Haven't held up super well, but I have to imagine that at least part of that is owner error, because the driver's side is way worse than the passenger side. But something to note. Besides that little issue, the V6 is wonderful. The ride is nice. And as I mentioned with the exterior, less is more. Nothing in the interior exterior is too intrusive. Nothing is fighting for your attention. Nothing is nagging you. And when nothing's nagging you, when nothing's fighting for your attention, it opens up the ability to focus on other things, to formulate your own thoughts when you're not being told what to think. That's what this Maxima does. It sculpts and conforms to whatever personality you want it to have. If you want it to be a fun street racer, sure, tack a wing on the back and put a little exhaust on it. If you wanted it to be a nice, luxurious sedan, it was also that. If you wanted it to be the family vehicle, it could do that. This car is a blank white canvas, ready for you to do what you want to it. And I struggle to find that in modern cars. Modern cars are built and designed to focus on one single demographic. The Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness is designed for hikers in the Pacific Northwest with a dog and a crippling sticker addiction. The Ford Raptor R is built for people that don't really need to tow things, but they want to look like they can, they want to look like they can go off-road, and they want you to know how much money they specifically spent on their 5.2-liter supercharged truck. The Honda Odyssey is a great family vehicle, one of the best, but it's not a luxury car. It's not good for date night, and I don't think you're going to pick up any possible partners in a minivan. This Maxima can be what you want it to be. This car is a wonderful co-host. The best co-host in the world doesn't try to override or step on the words of the main host. They help add in the general discussion. They help promote and show off the host. That's what this car does. It allows you to be yourself. It allows you to have your own personality, and it's doggone good at doing that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to North Naperville Autos for letting me borrow their Nissan Maxima for today's video. I was so excited to get behind the wheel. North Naperville Autos is absolutely wonderful. They offer shipping to 48 states. They are Carfax certified, as well as they offer mobile detailing. So they are your one-stop shop for automotive needs in the Chicago suburbs, so please check out their inventory down in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.